Charlotte Transportation Center and Imagine-On. Plus, becoming Charlotte's first black mayor.
People have often said, well, why wouldn't you have had a negative feeling about Charlotte and said, to heck with that job, I'm going somewhere else. I know I can get a job going north, but I was going to stay in the South because I grew up here. We grew up in the church. And we ultimately believe that the person in charge is God himself. And if you believe in something, you ought to go get it.
With many of the highlights in his life well written, his focus now is encouraging the next generation.
The key here is hope, H-O-P-E. Hope and a kind of optimism that no matter where you come from, how black you are, how poor you are, the beauty of this country is you can do something about it. You can bring some change.
Kaylin Hagwood, WCNC Charlotte.
We'll have more on our Black History Month special tonight at 8:30 on our streaming app, WCNC Plus. That's where a lot of our content is going, and it is for free. Download WCNC Plus on your smart TV. Another scam sweeping the country. Yes, texts like these telling people that they owe money to a state tolling agency. I've gotten many of these.
I've gotten one too.
Man, weird.
And fortunately, many folks are quick to dismiss these kinds of messages, but really these cases can be tricky since the state sometimes does send text messages about tolls.
So if you get one, what should you do? Well, WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
Well, this is the text message I got to my phone saying I had unpaid tolls I needed to pay. And I'm not gonna lie here, at first it took me off guard. Many others in our newsroom, as well as WCNC Charlotte viewers, also tell me they received the same thing. So what action do you need to take? Let's verify. Our sources, the Federal Trade Commission and NC Quick Pass. According to the FTC, these texts come out of the blue and request for you to pay the toll immediately. The text may also show you a dollar amount for how much you supposedly owe and include a link that takes you to a page where you enter your bank or credit card info. NC Quick Pass says it only sends texts from the number 696277 and does not request payments through text. The FTC says don't fall for this phishing scam. Don't click on any links in or respond to unexpected texts. Scammers want you to react quickly, so it's best to stop and check it out. You can also check to see if the text is legit by reaching out to North Carolina's tolling agency. There are some options to report this. You can use the junk option on your message.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We've had a tough winter season in North Carolina, and it is not over yet. We expect more winter weather to return to our state tomorrow, impacting the majority of North Carolina. So this morning, I've declared a state of emergency across the state to respond to this weather development. As a result of that declaration, we are activating the cross-agency storm response that is the State Emergency Response Team. It includes the Department of Transportation, the Department of Public Safety, the North Carolina National Guard, the State Highway Patrol, and our state's utilities. Momentarily, you will hear from Emergency Management Director Will Ray about the winter storm and our emergency response operations, and from Secretary Joey Hopkins about NCDOT's work to keep our roads as safe as possible. As Director Ray will outline, this winter storm will likely hit the majority of the state. At this time, our greatest concerns are potential power outages and road safety. Ice accumulation may lead to power outages, so we recommend that everyone keep their devices charged and have a flashlight on hand. In addition, precipitation and freezing temperatures will make a mess of our roads. Temperatures may warm above freezing in some parts of the state Thursday, but they are sure to freeze again Thursday night. Thawing and refreezing will lead to black ice, so everyone needs to be especially careful on our roads. Please avoid traveling unless it is necessary to travel. Many communities will be opening warming stations for those who need a safe refuge from the cold temperatures. You can find information on resources in your community by visiting your local government and emergency management agencies' websites and social media accounts. This morning, in addition to Director Ray and Secretary of Transportation Hopkins, I'm also joined by Secretary of Public Safety Eddie Buffalo, the Chief of Staff of the North Carolina National Guard, Colonel Ed Wallace, and Commander of the State Highway Patrol, Colonel Freddie Johnson. As we stand here now, emergency management officials, Department of Transportation crews, the Highway Patrol, and our National Guard are preparing for the winter weather, brining the roads, positioning resources, clearing abandoned cars from the shoulders of our highways, and working closely with local governments across the state to coordinate assistance quickly. Erica Kugler and Jackie Mativier are our Spanish language interpreters, and our American Sign Language interpreters are Karen Magoon and Nicole Fox. I'll now invite forward Emergency Management Director Will Ray to provide more updates. Director Ray.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning, everyone. Winter weather once again will impact our state tomorrow and into Thursday with a variety of winter precipitation types. The greatest snowfall totals of 2 to 6 inches and locally up to 9 inches of accumulation are forecast along our northern portions of the central and eastern parts of North Carolina. Accumulations of 2 to 4 inches are also expected across the northern mountains and in higher elevations in western North Carolina. Lighter snow accumulations of 1 to 3 inches are expected elsewhere across the state, with the exception being southeastern North Carolina, where freezing rain or rain is expected. We're also monitoring the forecast of ice accumulation as areas along the US 70 corridor near Goldsboro, Jacksonville, and New Bern to the northeast could see a maximum ice accumulation of 0.3 of an inch. Additionally, portions of central and eastern North Carolina may see 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice accumulation. As a reminder, ice accumulations of around 1/4 inch and greater will cause tree branches to snap and can cause power outages as well as hazardous travel conditions. If your power goes out during this storm, please ensure that generators are operated outside and away from open windows or doors to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Never burn charcoal indoors or use a gas grill indoors. Properly vent all kerosene heaters and make sure that heaters have space around them to reduce fire risk. Use battery-powered sources for light instead of candles to, again, reduce fire risk. And make sure that you have plenty of warm blankets and clothing available. Hazardous travel conditions are expected tomorrow and over the next several days. We ask that all North Carolinians continue to monitor the weather tomorrow and stay off the roads when possible. Unnecessary travel not only puts you at risk, but also the public safety personnel, the power crews, and DOT workers that will need to respond if there is an issue. If you must drive in winter conditions, our partners with the State Highway Patrol advise reducing speed significantly, increasing distance between other vehicles, and clearing all snow and ice from your vehicle before traveling. Given the forecast, let's make their work easier by staying off the roads unless absolutely necessary. The State Emergency Response Team has been activated and is working with key partners such as the Department of Transportation, the North Carolina National Guard, the State Highway Patrol, the Department of Health and Human Services, and our local emergency management agencies to ensure that any resources needed are quickly provided to communities throughout our state. As a part of the activation, our state's energy providers will be integrated here at the State Emergency Operations Center. We've been in close coordination with them over the last several days, and they are positioned to quickly respond to any power outages to reduce restoration times. As the governor said, a state of emergency has been issued in preparation for this event, and the State Emergency Operations Center, along with our regional coordination centers, remain in close communication with our local emergency managers across the state. Based on forecasted impacts, we have activated more than 180 National Guardsmen to assist the State Emergency Response Team in supporting communities that are impacted by this storm. National Guard assets are pre-positioned in Kinston, Elizabethtown, Edenton, Greensboro, Lewisburg, Rockingham, Surry County, Raleigh, and Charlotte to quickly respond to the needs in those areas. Their primary mission is to support local public safety agencies and emergency services, as well as the Department of Transportation. Remember to utilize 911 only for emergencies. If you need general information regarding the storm, please visit www.ready www.nc.gov, where you can find information on power outages, roadway conditions through drivenc.gov, and general preparedness information to make sure that you and your family are safe during this winter storm. Remember to enable emergency alerts on your mobile device and make sure it is fully charged to ensure you receive life-saving notifications from local authorities or the National Weather Service. Outside of the winter storm, North Carolina Emergency Management has deployed 4 state search and rescue teams to provide swiftwater rescue assistance to Kentucky as a result of the ongoing flooding there. Our hearts go out to those impacted by the ongoing flooding, and it is an honor for us to help our neighbor states in their time of need, just as they did for North Carolina during Helene, when 39 states responded in our time of need. I want to thank and acknowledge the dedication of team members from Asheville Fire, Charlotte Fire, Winston-Salem Fire, and New Hanover County Fire that are in Kentucky assisting local first responders. Finally, for those in western North Carolina continuing to recover from the devastation of Tropical Storm Helene, as a reminder, if you need resources, assistance with housing, or help navigating the recovery process, please call the North Carolina Disaster Case Management Program at 1-844-746-2326 or visit ncdps.gov/Helene. The North Carolina Disaster Case Management Program was established to guide survivors through the recovery process, to assist with making a recovery plan to fit individual needs, and to find resources to assist each survivor. As a reminder, you do not have to apply for FEMA assistance to receive assistance through the state program. As a note, the FEMA Disaster Recovery Centers in Western North Carolina will be closed tomorrow due to the inclement weather for in-person services. Disaster survivors can still access services tomorrow by calling 1-800-621-3362. Finally, please check on your friends, family members, neighbors, and those in your community who may need additional support, especially as it relates to food or water. We are stronger and more resilient together. I'll now turn it over to Secretary Hopkins for his update. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ray. Good morning. As another winter storm approaches central North Carolina this week, please know that our crews and contractors have been working hard to prepare North Carolina roads for the pending snow and ice. We have more than 1,300 employees and contractors that are conducting pre-storm preparations. As of this morning, we have used 1 million gallons of brine to pre-treat hundreds of miles of highways across the state. We also have nearly 500 trucks with plows and spreaders and 240 motor graders ready to remove snow and ice. We have 130,000 tons of salt ready to treat roads once the snow hits. We are staging equipment in areas that are known trouble spots during winter storms so crews can quickly plow and treat roads. We're also working with our partner agencies, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol and the North Carolina National Guard, to help clear roads of disabled vehicles in hot spots where breakdowns frequently occur during winter storms and on highway shoulders. Their assistance enables quicker clearance of disabled vehicles so our snowplow operators can work to clear any snow off the road. Once the storm hits, our crews are prepared to work day and night in shifts to plow and treat snow and ice until all the state-maintained roads are cleared. Our first priorities will be the interstates and other major highways, then other U.S. and NC routes, and then secondary roads. Please know that we will respond and clear roads as quickly as possible. Unless it is absolutely necessary, avoid traveling during and after the storm. This allows our crews time to clear roads safely. We ask that everyone be patient and stay off the roads. As conditions improve, please check drivenc.gov for the latest travel information. Thank you, and I'm going to turn it back over to Governor Stein.
Thank you, Director Ray, Secretary Hopkins, for those updates. During winter weather, just like any severe weather situation in our state, the #1 priority of the state of North Carolina is keeping our people safe. So we recommend that you take the following actions to navigate this winter weather event. Make sure you have everything you need in advance of the winter storm. Pay close attention to your local weather forecasts and enable emergency alerts on your phone to receive updates from your local emergency management agency and from the National Weather Service. Keep cell phones, mobile devices, and spare batteries charged in case you lose power. Keep cabinet doors open for pipes located under sinks to stay warm, and let your faucets drip to prevent freezing. In snowy and icy areas, avoid traveling. If you have to be on the road, store an emergency kit in your vehicle. And don't forget to check on your loved ones and anyone you know who might be vulnerable, especially the elderly. Thank you. I'll now open the floor to questions here in the room and go to the mics on the sides if you have any questions, and you can direct them to any of the folks here. We'll start on this side.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. Dina with CBS 17. Are there any special preparations happening in Western North Carolina specifically for people who are still out of their homes?
Director Ray.
So thanks for that question. I think the focus on the recovery efforts, particularly around housing, are continuing. And as a reminder, we have a number of options that are available for disaster survivors, for transitional sheltering, or for housing assistance. And so would ask that if there are specific needs, if there are survivors that have those specific needs in the impacted communities, that they do call that disaster case management line to help navigate that. As we've looked at over the last couple of days at the run-up to this event and potential impact, I think obviously the more significant weather impact seems to be trending towards the central and eastern part of the state. And so much of the snow and weather that is forecasted in the west is within what we would say local capability and capacity. And so a number of those communities are doing targeted outreach to those individuals that they know of in their jurisdictions that have additional needs. And we stand ready to support some of those specifically as they reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Governor Terry from SanfordTV.live and WWGP. What advice? I have two questions for you. What advice will you give for the senior citizen? And my second question is, what advice would you give for our wonderful farmers and our pet lovers?
As it relates to senior citizens or folks who aren't moving around very much, we don't want people moving around. Make sure that you have enough supplies, non-perishable food and water in case you lose water or power to your house. You don't want to have to be opening and closing your refrigerator. So make sure you have the right supplies on the front end, plenty of blankets to stay warm, have points of contact for people who can check in on you if necessary. And for pet owners, understand that when it's freezing temperatures out there, please keep your pets indoors.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Governor Laura Leslie, WRAL. We've been hearing over the past few months that response to Hurricane Helene has really stretched our state resources in terms of emergency management as well as DOT. Is there sufficient money in those budgets to handle this third response to this third storm this season?
Yeah, so there's no question that the state is prepared to respond to the issues of the moment, but I'll pass that on to Secretary Hopkins first and then Director Ray.
Yes, thank you for that question. And from a transportation standpoint, yes, our budget is strong enough to handle this storm. We will continue responding to the Helene Recovery 2. Work will be ongoing even through this week as the storm hits. And as was the governor announced last week, we do plan to open I-40 to 2 lanes of traffic, 1 lane in each direction by March 1st. Right now, we do not expect this storm to impact that, but we'll keep monitoring and keep recovering as we move forward.
Thanks for the question, Laura. And I think what I would say is we continue to have a significant focus on Western North Carolina and those communities and our recovery. And through the capabilities that we have, through the State Emergency Response Team, through the partners you see here, and through the ones that are coming today and into tomorrow and the rest of the week, there's significant capacity to respond here in North Carolina. I think over the years, one of the benefits that we've had and that I don't take for granted is through both the governor's office and the General Assembly, we have a fund that is authorized to support initial response costs. And that's obviously something from a Helene standpoint that we're working through reimbursement on with FEMA. But from a financial standpoint, to be able to tap into those resources while we continue to focus on recovery, we can also balance some of the ongoing response needs as well.
One other question.
I'll just add my own comment to that, Laura, which is that we have funds sufficient to do the response to this storm that is about to hit. Where we need more funds is the long-term recovery for Western North Carolina. And as you know, I submitted a budget request for immediate needs of about $1 billion. The House is considering legislation, which I understand they'll take up next week now, of about $500 million. I thank them for their willingness to start spending some real money to help us get the work going, but we're going to need more work, more help along the way. So there's going to be no question that between the federal and state governments, we need substantial resources to help Western North Carolina recover.
Obviously, just to follow up, the legislature has canceled its voting sessions for this week. I mean, is it frustrating at all that the storm is actually causing it to take longer to get money on the ground for Helene?
My frustration is not with the legislature. My frustration is with the weather. Yes. I mean, I want the legislators to be safe. We're advising people not to travel unnecessarily. We understand they'll come back and take it up next week, and is unfortunately a part of life here in North Carolina this winter. Now, at this point, we'll see if there are any questions on the phone. If you're on the phone, please press 1 to ask a question.
The first question is from Helene Chickering with Blue Ridge Public Radio. Please go ahead with your question. Helen, do you have a question?
Voice training, reporter training, and
next question. Okay, moving to the next question is with Chris Peterson with WXII TV. Chris, please go ahead with your question.
Good morning, Governor. My question is about schools. School systems in Western North Carolina and in my area, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point, have already missed a considerable number of days because of previous winter weather. And remote learning days have been a challenge as well with the 5-day limit. So I was curious, since now there's been a state of emergency declared, would these days that are probably going to be missed this week count against schools? Would they be forced to make these days up, or are you going to waive them?
We will look into that question. One element in the budget request that I have made of the General Assembly that they have not indicated a willingness to fund at this point is paying for summer instructional time. There are school systems out west that have missed more than 15 school days already. It's imperative that students not miss out on the opportunity to learn. So we want to have instructional time this summer. That obviously costs money to operate, and so that is one of the budget items that remain in discussion with the General Assembly. I want to make sure that all young people in North Carolina have every opportunity to learn so that they can build whatever life they want for themselves.
The next question is from Simone Jasper with the NNO. Please go ahead with your question.
For the roads, and I was wondering if you would be able to share more information about preparations being done for potential power outages. What kind of crews are out there in regards to that effort?
Yes, we've heard that there are resources coming into North Carolina from other states to help pre-position to respond to power outages that may occur, and I'll ask Director Ray to offer more information.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that question. I think as the governor said, obviously one of our larger utilities in the state, Duke Energy, will be here, as well as our municipal and co-op partners today into tomorrow as we look at the impact. Again, to make sure that if they have resource needs, to be able to quickly move crews, that we can support them as we can. Duke has shared with us that they are moving crews in from out of state, from a number of different locations into North Carolina. Today they are moving crews from the west to the east, and have a number of crews that will also follow on tomorrow from the western part of the state into primarily central and eastern North Carolina. And they're looking at capabilities both from a vegetation management standpoint as well as line crews to focus on restoration. And so based on the estimates that they're seeing, as we've talked about with the potential ice accumulation in some eastern parts of the state, they feel like they have adequate capacity right now. But I do think, and I know we say this during all events, but this is one of the reasons that it's really important. If you do not have to travel tomorrow and Thursday or later in this week with some of the hazardous conditions that are there, please stay off the roads. I think folks that are on the roads do slow down, whether it's power crews, DOT work, or public safety that are trying to respond. We really need folks to heed that request and stay off the roads where possible this week.
Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you all for being here today.
You have been listening to Governor Josh Stein there give a briefing about the plans for North Carolina as we approach some winter weather. The governor declaring a state of emergency for North Carolina. We've got a WCNC Weather Impact Alert in effect for Wednesday through Thursday morning. We've got some live pictures we're going to show, maybe not, up at King Street up in Boone. All good right now, but we're expecting snow, ice, sleet, a little bit of everything depending where you live in North Carolina. All of it can make roads dangerous, impacting your commute. If not tomorrow morning, certainly tomorrow afternoon and into Thursday as well. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy, he's been tracking all of this for the last 24 hours. And Chris, this seems like it's going to affect all corners of North Carolina and in different ways.
Yeah, for the rarity, you're actually looking at, I think, worse impacts in eastern Carolinas and compared to the western Carolinas as you typically see. So current temperatures right now, it's great. 44 degrees around Charlotte, 44 Statesville, 36 degrees in Boone. There's a good likelihood tomorrow highs are stuck to the 30s. So enjoy the lower 50s while we have them today, but you will see more and more clouds. We continue hour by hour working our way through the afternoon. But then by tomorrow morning, you need to be weather alert throughout the day. And that also continues into Thursday. Wouldn't be surprised if we have another dusting to coating of snow to kick off your Thursday. So here's everything you need to know. I'll get to as much as I can. The models are still all over the place. What exactly we're going to see here in Charlotte, because we're kind of right in between the two batches of snow and even ice. So right now, Charlotte through Monroe, Wadesboro, Rockingham, all the way up to the mountains under a winter weather advisory, meaning that you are still going to have some winter weather, just not as much to deem a winter storm warning. So that's good news, and that's for the mountains included. So our general time between about 2 to 6 a.m., that's where the mountains and the foothills are first going to see snow. Now you start to see either snow or ice between about 6 to 10 across the greater Charlotte area. I know that's a wide window, but let's call it the middle of the morning. At that point, you could really see anything goes. Once you get into the afternoon, I think it's shifting towards more to the southeast that we're seeing most of this precipitation. So here's one example of a future cast, just clouds today. Here's 3 a.m. tomorrow, but then here comes that snow. So I think you could actually have a light dusting to a coating of snow throughout the morning, but then there's going to be a changeover to that rain-snow line. So some of that sleet, freezing rain is going to be a possibility. And the further east that you go, we're looking at a substantial amount of ice and freezing rain. The one thing that's really coming into play here is the chance for some drier air. Drier air could break up a lot of this activity through the middle of the afternoon. But another case and scenario is we actually see rain before this changes over to snow and a wintry mix. But all models are starting to show the Charlotte area, at least in the middle of the afternoon, could have a break. I think you'll still have the atmosphere spitting at you, maybe sleet, freezing rain, or snow, but a much drier afternoon. Meanwhile, all the focus shifts a little bit further off towards the east. So coming up, I'm going to break down all the models, exactly what we're seeing, when we're going to see the worst, and when it's going to get out of here. We have a lot to unwrap and unfold as this system is nearing closer to us.
All right, Chris, thanks. Meantime, crews across North Carolina getting ready for tomorrow's winter storm. A potential wintry mix could mean dangerous driving conditions and power outages. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us now with a look at the efforts underway now to keep your family safe.
Yeah, good afternoon. You wouldn't know it by looking at the conditions today, but we're in for some pretty bad weather over the next 24 to 48 hours. And it's important to note that the road crews have been out working ahead of time. It's all about being prepared with a major winter storm heading toward our area. Officials are urging residents to start prepping now. NCDOT wants residents to stock up on emergency supplies, food, and water ahead of Wednesday's storm to avoid being on the roads when conditions become dangerous. Crews have already started treating major roads across the area, including highways and interstates. That is in case of any snow or ice accumulation. And for power crews are also closely monitoring the forecast. Duke Energy says it is having its teams in place or stationed locally in our area to respond to outages very quickly. They say they'll also adjust deployment plans if widespread power outages occur. And they also say that it's important for folks to know that when this bad weather comes, stay tuned to us here online and all of the different various types of ways we communicate with you. We'll keep you safe, tell you the best times to be on the roads and when to stay home, and keep you safe. We're right here in Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. Send it back to you.
And as we get ready for that winter weather to push in tomorrow, now is a good time to make sure you have the WCNC app. You'll find the most up-to-date information from the WCNC Weather Impact Team. It's free to download on any device. Up next, right here on WCNC Charlotte, investigators in Toronto try to narrow down what caused that plane to flip upside down upon landing. We're on the ground with the latest. Didn't get the chance to watch WCNC Charlotte last night or this morning? No worries, just download the WCNC Plus app. Rewatch our live newscasts anytime right here on WCNC Plus. Your news on your schedule. Download now for free.
At Closets by Design, we deliver the best in home organization. Closets, garages, home offices, laundry rooms, pantries, and more. Ready to get organized? Call now for your free estimate. To save money and time, always call Closets by Design.
Do you or a loved one suffer from varicose veins, spider veins, leg pain or cramps, swollen legs, ulcers in the legs, or difficulty standing for a long period of time? If left untreated, these symptoms can become more severe, leading to more serious medical problems. USA Vein Clinics is a national leader in vein care, and we are passionate about helping you get back to doing the things you love. Call today to schedule your consultation. Don't delay. Treatment only takes 15 minutes, and you can resume normal activity the same day. The best part is that treatment is covered by most insurance plans, including Medicare. Don't wait another day to take control of your life again and get back to doing the things you love. Call to schedule your consultation at 704-635-6693. 704-635-6693. Call now.
I was just riding my motorcycle when a driver who was texting merged right into me. Who I chose as my lawyer was critical in my situation.
Injured in a car wreck? Call me, Shane Smith. In pain? You know what to do. Call Shane.
Didn't get the chance to watch WCNC Charlotte last night or this morning? No worries, just download the WCNC Plus app. Rewatch our live newscasts anytime right here on WCNC Plus. Your news on your schedule. Download now for free. Now to Toronto, where an investigation is underway after a plane flipped upside down upon landing. You're taking a look at new video showing that aircraft this morning. Fortunately, everybody made it out alive. NBC's Stephanie Gosk is in Toronto with the latest.
An unimaginable scene at Toronto's Pearson International Airport.
Oh, no. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
Video obtained by TMZ shows the moment Delta Airlines Flight 4819 crashed into the runway and overturned.
The aircraft is upside down and burning.
Video posted on social media shows passengers evacuating the plane, operated by regional jet company Endeavour Air.
Drop it! Come on!
One passenger filming the moment he jumped out of the emergency exit onto a tarmac covered in patches of snow.
Yo, I was just on this plane.
All 76 passengers and 4 crew members are accounted for. Paramedic services saying at least 18 were injured, including a child. 2 people were airlifted to a nearby trauma center.
There was no loss of life, and this is in due part to our heroic and trained professionals.
Bystanders filming giant clouds of black smoke as first responders quickly covered the plane in foam to prevent flames from spreading. Officials say it's too early to speculate about the cause of the crash, but the weather conditions are coming into sharp focus. At around the time the plane landed, wind gusts reached close to 40 miles per hour amid blowing snow and -2-degree wind chill. It comes amid some confusion over the presence of crosswinds, which can impact plane landings. Toronto Pearson Fire Chief saying the runway was dry and there were no crosswind conditions at the time. But according to aviation tracking website Flight Radar 24, weather advisories indicated a gusting crosswind. Monday's accident involved a CRJ 900 plane, popular for short-haul flights.
The next thing I saw is basically a plane, the CRJ plane that basically flipped on the runway.
The regional jet is a bigger version of the same model involved in the deadly collision in Washington, D.C. between a military helicopter and an American Airlines flight just 20 days ago. That crash, the deadliest in nearly 25 years, killed 67 people.
Stephanie Yosk reporting for us there. Southwest Airlines says it's going to cut 15% of its corporate workforce. That's more than 1,700 people. This is the first mass layoff in the company's history. Southwest says it expects the layoffs will save the company about $210 million this year and $300 million next year. Well, as we speak, folks in Kentucky cleaning up after severe storms brought deadly conditions over the weekend. The governor now confirming at least 12 people are dead. Many of the deaths caused by cars getting stuck in floodwaters. President Trump has already approved a natural disaster declaration, and FEMA is responding to the hardest hit areas. Joined by Chris now to look at our forecast.
Our forecast is going to be a mixed bag from snow to freezing rain. Some not really seeing all that much at all. And then some areas could be completely shut down because of snow and ice, depending where you are in the Carolinas.
Well, there you go.
Simple, right? Today, good. Here's our forecast.
We like that.
We have the lower 50s. Now, we should be a lot warmer, but I will tease ahead that days 7 through 10 of the extended forecast will be a little bit closer to 60 degrees. So this is the bottom, really, tomorrow and Thursday. But today, slightly below normal, but not too bad. By tomorrow, as soon as we wake up, we have a winter weather advisory. Well, I guess depending when you wake up, because this starts anywhere between about 6 and 7 and goes all the way into about the noon hour to 1 p.m., depending on which county you live in. And then notice Rock Hill, York County, not under a current advisory because it looks like you're not really going to see as much compared to the rest of the area. So when we're going for a weather impact alert day, you're going to have a mix of a bunch of different things. For this case and scenario, it's a chance for sleet, freezing rain, and snow. Starting Wednesday morning, continuing throughout the day, and will end on Thursday morning. And the way things are starting to shape up is I think we can have one more blast of accumulating snow on Thursday morning for the Charlotte area. Yes, for the Charlotte area. And I'll get to all the above in here in just a moment. So over the next 4 mornings, our lows right around freezing overnight tonight. That's going to come into play. And then our Thursday temperature to the morning low on Friday. Look at that. We have the mid-20s down to either side of 20 degrees both on Friday and Saturday morning. So that refreeze black ice issue is definitely going to be a concern, as Josh Stein had said earlier. So here's a look over the next 36 hours. Regardless, you have a low pressure system right off the shoreline. That's the nature of this beast. But most of the moisture is further down towards the southeast. So it's right in here that I think you're going to see some of the worst weather as far as ice is concerned. For us, one thing that's really going to break up a lot, the dry air. That dry air is massive. We saw this last system, but the difference here is this system is going to last longer, but the dry air is a lot more prevalent. It's these areas in blues, they're going to have enough for widespread freezing rain, snow, all the above, even heavy rain down towards the south. We have a lot of dry air that's going to cut this off a little bit earlier, so I'm not going to say it's only going to last during the morning, but during the afternoon, it doesn't look to be as substantial compared to other time slots. So our hourly forecast for tomorrow, we're going to be in the mid-30s, so 34, 35, that's our temperature. Wind chill still blowing, gusts up to 20 miles per hour will be possible, feeling like the 20s, but really anything for the middle of the afternoon, it depends. So here's a look at Model 1, so bear with me. Here's 11 a.m. You notice that rain-snow line, this is key, that rain-snow line where you're seeing either freezing rain or sleet is divided right through Lancaster and Chester County. Now, notice the middle of the afternoon, 2 o'clock. We're still seeing a lot of activity from Monroe to Wadesboro down over to Cheraw. I think it's really Union, Richmond, and Anson County. You have a better chance for worse weather, I think, for the afternoon compared to the rest of us. Notice how things are still popping up here. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these South Carolina counties, especially Chesterfield County, will be added to that advisory. Here's Model 2. It shows widespread snow during your Thursday morning. And then we also are looking at Model 2 to see more snow to the northwest. That rain-snow line is much further off towards the north. Then this one has rain. What? But the one agreement is that we see a lot less precipitation around Charlotte the middle of the afternoon heading into the evening, but still right over here in Monroe and Wadesboro, a lot more activity. All right, and again, Thursday morning, snow. Last one. This one has all rain through the morning. That rain-snow line up near the I-40 corridor, all snow during the middle of the afternoon, and then eventually gets out of here, and then we're done with that widespread snow event. What did you just show me, Chris? I know this is very complex, but I'm going to try to break it down as easy as I can. Number one, it's about impacts. How are you impacted? So starting in the morning, one thing that it's agreeing on is that it may be sleet, maybe snow, or even freezing rain, starting off right around the middle of the morning. Let's call it after 7 o'clock, 7 to 10, that's where things start to change on us. From that 10 to 1 o'clock time frame, still snow and sleet's going to be a possibility, but hazardous travel has really been triggered. It's not going to be as cold as we had for the previous event, but it's cold enough that a lot of it's going to be an instant stick. So as far as our ice potential goes, up to 1/10 of an inch is going to be possible around Charlotte, but much more further off towards the east. And I am concerned with over a ½ inch of ice further off towards the east, around Jacksonville, over to Whiteville, right here around Wallace, north of Wilmington. This is going to be crippling if that comes to fruition. And any wind gusts, 500 pounds of power lines, we can talk about widespread power outages. Meanwhile, for snow, if that is going to be the main stem here that we see come to fruition, it's about up to 1 inch, but I think it's really going to be mostly a trace around Charlotte. But this also comes in 2 waves. A dusting and a coating is also going to be possible on Thursday morning. Much better chance for up to 2 inches around the I-40 corridor. So our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, all you need to know is be weather alert starting tomorrow morning. Conditions are going to be intermittently bad, and then once you get to Thursday afternoon, things start to melt away, but they could refreeze the following night. But then here's the nice stair step of good news. We're back to around 60 degrees by Sunday, heading into Monday. So great cuddle weather, maybe with the pet, cat, dog, whatever you got, Larry.
I tell you what, it's going to be interesting, in quotes. It's time for our Tuesday Tailwagger, along with our friends over at Animal Care and Control over on Byram Drive. Last week we featured Geo. Look at a great-looking dog right there. And Geo is, yep, he's still looking for his forever home. Maybe it'll happen today. Let's bring out today's Tailwagger. Bruno is his name. This is a character. They say he's got a big personality. He's about 4 years old, weighs somewhere from about 55 to 60 pounds. Just a sweet dog, great manners. He loves people, great on a leash, and, you know, just a perfect pet. And he loves just to be close to you. Very affectionate dog. His name is Bruno. Interested in adopting him? All you got to do is head out West Boulevard to Byram Drive, or make an appointment by calling 704-336-7600. Once again, take a look at that guy right there. His name is Bruno. He's about 4 years old, weighs somewhere from about 55 to 60 pounds. A big dog. Bruno is a very special Tuesday Tailwagger. Ben?
All right, Larry, thanks. Up next, we continue to get you ready for this incoming winter weather as North Carolina now has a state of emergency in place. We're back in 2 minutes.
Thank you for voting Closets by Design Charlotte's best.
What's under your home can get into your home. A sealed crawl space keeps out moisture, mold, and pests. Canty Foundation Specialist is your local trusted expert in crawl space sealing. Call us today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
It's incredible to think that every time you shop local, your dollars are staying right here in the community. Now, that does not happen unless you are shopping here in the Carolinas.
That's right, Eugene. When you support a local business, you're not just buying a product. You're creating jobs, increasing the local economy, and fueling charitable contributions where we live.
This year on Charlotte Today, we'll bring you those stories, highlighting local businesses proud to work and serve the Carolinas.
Every purchase you make has an impact, so shop local and join us on Charlotte Today as we celebrate Carolina Made, Carolina Proud.
Injured? At Campbell & Associates, when it comes to fighting for you, we're aggressive. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime unless we win your injury case. Call Campbell & Associates. 704-333-0885.
Your neighbor just paid an enormous amount for a new roof, but he didn't have to, and neither do you. Because RoofMax can add years of life to your current roof.
Here's how you know you have a problem with your roof. Black streaking, your roof looks rough, or granules shedding off into your gutters or showing up in your driveway. Your roof is wearing out too fast, and it's going to cost you a bundle. RoofMax makes your roof like new by strengthening and rejuvenating it. Call now and get our $859 roof tune-up for free with your RoofMax treatment.
My family and I wanted a fresh start, but we didn't want the hassle of selling our home. So I went to markspain.com and got a guaranteed offer.
With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress.
I skipped the cleaning and repairs and sold my home for more than I expected.
The guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today.
If you applied to FEMA, stay in touch and make sure you get the support you need. To get help with your FEMA application, visit FEMA.gov/help is here or call 1-800-621-3362.
Snakes, rodents, and mold all live and grow beneath your home and eventually will find their way inside. Canty Foundation Specialist is your local trusted expert in crawl space sealing. Call us today for a free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Stay weather aware with WCNC Weather Impact.
Now at noon, more winter weather on the way. Today is great, but tomorrow we could see freezing rain, sleet, snow on and off throughout the afternoon and again on Thursday morning.